They're actually.
Do you have one of those special bottles with the corky thing?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so it doesn't explode.
Yes,
Important.
I do.
You never want your meat to explode?
No, you never do. Well, I mean, it just depends
One
on how
we're
the meat
live.
explodes.
Oh, we're live.
Well, when your meat explodes, like, it just depends on what type of meat, and you all know what we're talking about. It's a dick joke. Let's just.
The joke,
Welcome
yeah.
to the show, everybody. It's Monday.
For you it was a dick joke. For me, I was talking about Poltergeist.
Oh.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
was talking about
misunderstood.
hot dogs in the microwave for my kid.
Nice.
Yeah, those split open when you put them in the microwave.
Oh God. Did you watch
Also-
Sausage Party? Did they put them in the
No.
microwave?
Listen,
don't
no,
know.
and nobody should ever watch the TV series Sausage Party.
See,
There's
we
And I
already
agree.
knew that.
Yeah.
We already
I
knew
agree.
that. Somehow you didn't know that. So we're still impressed that you didn't know that.
Listen,
So-
Tifa turned it on, and then I'm a glutton for punishment.
Listen to him listen to him throwing his girlfriend under the bus. She turned it on, nothing to do
She
with it.
did.
Listen, I have no problem with that. I was at a con this weekend, and I was at somebody's house, and they were all trying to pick a movie, and they all picked fucking Pearl. And I was like, I'm done.
I'm
Goodbye.
going home.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
feel
I'm
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
sleep
you
in the
watch-
street.
You watched the new Alien. I saw that. I knew exactly what you were going to say
Me
before you
too.
even posted it.
I
Like,
didn't know what I was going to say because
I
I
did.
went in wanting to like that movie. I really wanted to.
and I wanted you to want to like it, but it
Yeah.
this doesn't work that way.
No, doesn't.
So was it? So I'm going to guess it didn't meet your expectations.
It did in the and I don't want to do spoilers. I don't know who's seen it or hasn't, but I want to do spoilers. But it did in the context of Feedy and what he does, visually in a film. It was really good. But there was exactly no story. I mean, just like no story, no rationale for it to be put between 1 and 2, like no real reason it could have been done at any time. The finale was like the biggest head scratcher of all time. Like, what are we doing here? The characters were awful except for the synth, who was like the best. And if the synth is out acting the rest of your cast, you've done something wrong. You've done something. I mean, obviously, Michael Fassbender was a synth in the past. He's really good, but some of the other cast members kept up with him. But in this case, it was just a bunch of 20-something people that didn't know what they were doing. They didn't really have anything to do either. But they didn't really do anything to like bring me into the thing. It's watchable. But I am really confused by the reviews that are saying like this is so great, it's so amazing. I'm like, dude, this is everything we've already seen in 9 other Alien movies. With
the 8th movie too.
Well, it's like the Cape Crusader animated, the new animated series.
Very,
It's
very
everything we've already
similar.
seen, so it's getting praise. because
very, very similar in that regard. Yeah.
Which
Tom,
I
I
hate
have a
that you
question.
said that too, because now I can't unsee it every time I try to go to watch it. I'm like, God damn it. This is what I've seen before.
This is what I do, Chad.
I know.
Tom, I heard in Alien Romulus there's one ending too many, like a half act too many, if that makes sense. I haven't
like
seen
20
it, so I
minutes
don't
too
know
long.
exactly.
Like Lost World.
Kind
Like
of.
30 minutes too
I mean,
long.
that's an interesting
like-
way to put it.
Late Night with the Devil. That's the one I was thinking.
My problem with the final finale really is and again, I don't want to draw spoilers here, but
There
is
you
that
go.
they had an opportunity.
Wow, that's how we stop
Yeah.
spoilers here, man.
Yeah, you froze up.
They had
Froze
an
up right there.
Lagged right
They
there,
had an
dude.
opportunity to do something and actually make the movie matter, and they didn't. They did something completely other. And again, I won't drop a spoiler for you, but like I kept looking for some reason for this movie to exist, and then I thought I had it. I was like, oh, there it is. I see what they're doing. This is what's going to happen. And then it went in a polar opposite direction, and I was like, this is garbage.
But it wasn't in a polar opposite direction that made it like a twist for you. I'm going to take it. Right.
I mean, I knew something like that had to happen. Like that had to be our finale in some capacity. But again, it's really hard to talk about without throwing spoilers out. But
Please don't.
yeah.
I kind of feel like I
Well,
need
you're
to
never
go
going
and
to see it,
watch-
Lori.
I feel like I need to go and watch all of
You know,
the
the
other.
two times you have
Alien
said that, I've actually gone and seen those movies.
I know that's true.
That's
Apparently, you don't have to see the others to really.
No, you don't.
understand
And
one.
here's one of the
So
key
it's-
reasons why. Everything that's in the first movie, because this takes place between 1 and 2. So
Yeah.
everything that takes place in the first movie just basically happens again with a little bit of extra salt on it. Like it's the
Yeah.
same movie, you know. So
See,
no,
I-
you don't. You'll understand it just fine. They explain things, blah blah blah.
No,
You'll be fine.
I was wondering. I feel like I should go and see all the other movies before I go see this movie, so that I can also not like this movie.
Oh.
the way they do.
Oh, that's
Like I feel like I
That's-
need the refresher, so I can go
that's
into
what
it and be
I
like,
gotta
"Why
do, yeah.
does this exist?" You know.
Right,
gonna-
Jared,
Just watch
Jared.
I'm
little
gonna-
context clips like Ron Perlman shooting a spider, like a bunch of just random nonchalant things that
I'm
don't
gonna-
really matter for the story.
But is it worse than? Because I didn't like Covenant. Is it?
So Covenant is very divisive, but Covenant to me is a better film because it had a story. It had something to tell you.
Yeah.
So if nothing else, it had that. But I think Prometheus and Covenant have one very large problem, and it is that it doesn't connect anything. It doesn't tell us anything. Still,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't connect to LV-426 at all, and it also changes the origin of the alien, which we've never known anyway. We've just always assumed, oh, there's a queen and she lays eggs and it gets around however it gets around. But with Prometheus and Alien, we got the true origin of the species, which is that they came from the little virus stuff and then evolved into what we know. But we still have no understanding of where the queen comes from.
They made a COVID movie. Is that what you're saying?
It almost, yeah. They made a COVID movie before COVID. Yeah. But again, so you can either, it's sort of like the prequels for Star Wars, right? You can either like them or not like them, but George made them. So that's what they're supposed to be. And in this case, it's like Prometheus and Covenant. Ridley
Right.
made them. So it's his story. That's, you can like it or not like it. That's up to you. But so for me, I didn't really like Covenant the first time either, but it's grown on me as I've seen it a couple more times. And again, it has a story to tell. It has something happening where Romulus just is like almost complete rehash. And that's where it falls short. Like it's a fine movie. Like if that was the only alien movie ever was Romulus, fucking A, like this is crazy. Like let's go. But because it's like number 10 out of all of these other things, it's like,
Well,
I've seen all of this.
Technically, it's
Is it 12?
11. Well,
11.
it depends because there's the game as well, which is apparently also takes place like in that unit. It is canon, so technically, and then there's
Yeah.
the comics, which are also
That's
apparently
a whole
canon,
different thing. Yeah.
which is a whole other thing. But so I mean, technically, there's like 14 different alien,
Yeah.
Things.
So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Are you
I
saying
don't
that
know.
you would have liked this? You would have liked this a lot better if you hadn't seen the other ones.
Sure, because it would all be new. Everything
Sure.
you see would be new.
Sure. Because I still got to watch the other ones.
I recently, my 8-year-old likes to watch, like he'll pick a series with like 9 movies and he'll want to watch all the movies.
Yeah.
And so we did Star Wars and he wanted to watch them in chronological order, not release order.
Mhm.
And so I had to watch the prequels and I had to watch them first. And I tried to put the middle trilogy out of my head and it didn't make it better.
Have you ever heard of the Butcher's Cut for Star Wars?
The Butcher's Cut? No.
Yeah, what you do is you watch episode 4, episode 5 to have the big reveal of who Luke's father is. Then you go
Yeah,
1 through 3 and then 6. That way you get the big surprise, then you get the backstory, the lead up to Vader, and then you get to watch the big finale with 6. I've
gotta
done
watch
that with my kids.
Yeah, but
and it worked
I
pretty
think
good.
that only, I was just going to say, I think that only matters if you're watching it with people that have never watched it before.
Right.
That makes
Yes.
sense. Yeah, because otherwise,
there were no Romulans in Alien Romulus.
No, that was
Romulus.
like the biggest bait and switch of all. There were no Romulans in Romulus at all.
but
What a
say
ripoff.
if he's watching that, he needs to watch the Clone Wars animated series. That stuff's awesome.
Oh man, this is a cool idea.
Nobody
If
did
you
that.
had like
Nobody did that.
xenomorphs versus
Hell
the
yeah.
Borg, which one would win? Because they both kind of like infect each other.
Are we really doing a versus thing of who would win on this?
We don't have to. It's just
Are
a
we-
thought that came to mind.
If you don't have,
Well-
if you're not capable of participating in Ray's game,
Here's-
you don't have to. You don't have to make.
You
it
know,
sound
Ray's
Ray, there-
participating in my game in a week.
Wait a
so
second.
don't.
There's an answer
Y'all
to
wanna know
this
about
though.
this game?
There's
Yes,
an answer to this, Ray.
Shoot.
There's an answer to this question.
Acid blood,
Borg
so
lose.
nanotech
Do you
can't
know
get
why the
acid
Borg
blood.
lose?
Say again.
They're
Because-
fake
Because does anyone know why the Borg would lose?
because they have a stupid name.
Because they're
Well,
old.
that's part of it, Chad. Yes.
You can't assimilate them.
Because of the way that the Borg assimilate assimilate, beings, whatever, the aliens are filled with acid. So if you tried to do all that shit would just melt off.
So the only way it would work is if they had acid-proof nanotech, basically.
Correct. If they
Make
were
a drone out of a drone, ironically.
right. So we've seen them with like shield technology, variable shields and things like that, like light
For
and stuff like
energy.
that. But they would have to actually create acid-proof gear in
Armor,
order to
essentially.
assimilate an alien, so that when they stick the things in it, it would not melt away.
Yeah,
Isn't
yeah.
that just-
Interesting.
But isn't
That
that
is an
just
interesting
any-
thought
Have you
experiment.
have you guys seen the robot chicken one where the alien just like keeps falling through the floor?
Oh yeah, I have.
He's like the blood, and then it disintegrates the floor, and he's like, oh, and he goes through the next floor and the next floor and the next.
Yes. I
It's
love
great.
Robot Chicken.
Me too.
That's my favorite.
I have altered the deal. Pray I do not alter it again. And you must ride this unicycle when you come in. Have you seen the Star Wars one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Darth Vader
I love,
keeps
it's
coming
all
out.
it's all the whole joke in that is they keep on showing you what happens right after the cut in the movie.
Yeah.
Like the worm, there's the worm coming out to try and catch the Millennium Falcon, and then there's another one that comes out and goes, "What's going on? I just missed it. There was a ship. You just missed it." Really funny.
Oh,
Robot
man.
Chicken is beautiful.
Any other movies this week, Tom? I didn't do anything.
I watched movies over the weekend.
What'd you watch, Chad?
You're gonna judge me. Actually, I don't care.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna judge
that's why
you
we're
either
here.
way. I'm gonna judge you either way. So
That's
you
what
might
this
as
show
well.
is about, is judging you, Chad.
You know what? That's right. That's why I don't come on. I'm leaving now.
Hold on. I'll say it for him
Realize
this
that
time.
this show
Fine.
started because of you, right?
Fine.
So
I'm only
There we go.
12 minutes into my first episode ever, and I knew that that's what this was about.
That's. I'm glad
Right away.
everybody got the memo. Thanks. I'm not gonna send you any more goodies, Carissa.
nice.
You, Lori, you're good. I'll keep sending you goodies. So
Thank you.
I
You
watched
know what I'm gonna do with them?
what?
Send him to Carissa.
Thank you.
Make sure you sit on them
I'm just
first.
kidding. I'm kidding. If they're physical, I'm keeping them. If they're
Chad's about to
digital-
tell us that he watched Frozen again.
What?
Well, I watch that every day. You
That's
don't need to.
what-
You watch
stop.
Frozen
Watch
every day?
Yeah,
Wait,
every day.
the Frozen, like the Disney, or Frozen, those people in the ski lift? Because both
Both.
are equally unique.
I watch them both at the same time.
That would be
It's
definitely
two separate
unique.
experiences.
I saw that movie a long time ago, and it was interesting. I guess. I don't know.
So, I watched that migration movie that came out
With what, the penguins?
with the
Oh, I
ducks.
saw your post about that.
Oh, is it
Yeah,
really?
man, for a
What?
movie, yeah. So, okay, so first off, it has Aquafina in it, so that'll tell you exactly
Nice.
what this movie is.
It's already bad.
Yeah. So anyway, for a movie called Migration, they don't do any migrating. They just stay in a city for about a good 45 minutes, and the remaining 15 minutes is them fighting a guy on a helicopter, and then they casually kill a man.
Wait, is this like
What?
Yes.
What is this?
It's I do not understand how this movie got made, and it's from Illumination. So
Illumination?
I
It's-
had what?
My kids saw this movie.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So, and first off, Aquafina's in it, so that was really annoying.
I don't. I'm not a fan of
The
her voice.
first,
This is me.
then there's one part where I really liked, which was the stork or the heron part, where it was like herons eat ducklings, which I didn't know that.
I didn't know that
They
either.
eat ducklings. Yeah, interesting fact. And it's like a
Ooh.
whole horror movie of them like living in this house or like spending the night in this stork crane house. And it just keeps watching them and trying not to eat them. It's really terrifying. and then
they're
after that, the whole movie
sociopaths,
sucks.
basically, of herons.
This sounds
Is
terrible.
it herons?
Huron herons. We have blue herrings up here. I don't know if you guys have them down there, but
What about red herons?
they
I
kill
have-
fish, baby birds, the works.
Maybe
Dude,
that's
I
what they
mean,
are.
birds
yeah,
are
that's-
descendants
yeah.
from dinosaurs. Are we expecting anything less?
Yeah, haven't you
Wait,
seen
wait.
pelicans? Pelicans run around and
Pelicans?
try and eat shit.
They do. They eat
Pelicans
anything.
do
Shoe-bill stork.
Yeah.
The
What are
shoe-bill
those, like,
stork,
the-
it's like 6 feet tall, and it like
Yep.
shatters its beak like
Yeah,
a
the
machine gun.
shoehorn.
Shoehorn bill. Yeah, the shoehorn. That thing will eat anything. Anything.
So we're
it eats
Listen,
ducklings.
to Tom's point though, I've seen videos of like pelicans swallowing like pigeons.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like it's insane. But the movie's terrible. Like it's not even worth anybody's time.
Every week I
Um,
question why we do
yeah.
this show, but
And then I watched but a movie that is worth everybody's time, and I can't believe I am saying this, is Cinderella 3. That
Okay, so
movie
you
is
need to kick him off the show
shush.
right now.
Let me explain, Tom, because you won't get this
Oh, I know.
at
I will.
all.
Thank you.
Good.
I didn't do it. I don't know. It's not me.
All right, let me explain. This
Get cut off
shows that these direct-to-video sequels have absolutely no quality control, and nobody pays attention to what the story is.
Okay.
It is unhinged.
you get to see her naked
Oh,
or
and
something. Is that why
insane.
you liked it?
Oh God! Wait, what? Wait, what'd you say?
I said, why? Do you get to see Cinderella naked or something? Why do
No,
you-
that would be
what's the
better.
fun?
No, it's just like. So first of all, Prince Charming throws himself out of buildings every 5 minutes
I
to
thought about
find
that.
Cinderella.
Sounds
The
like
king-
a Family Guy.
He's
skit.
trying to find her again.
Yes.
She just
Does
This
he
sounds like
remember
Romulus already.
Does he remember what she looks like this time, or does he still need
So
to find
that's
the clue?
okay. So this is what
is
happens.
he blind?
The evil stepmother
Temporary amnesia.
steals the fairy godmother's wand and
Still
turns
alive?
back time.
It's one of
So,
So
it's a
they-
Star Trek episode.
Sure, yes. I mean, it's any type of turn back time.
where they do
and-
find
and-
Romulus.
Yeah. Then they find Robbie. Yeah. Then they make the movie Alien Romulus, and it's
Mhm.
really weird. Anyway,
Yeah.
so they trick Prince Eric into thinking that Anastasia is
I
the
just
is
saw,
Cinderella.
I saw a clip from this. That's what this shit is from.
Yes.
They were like at the altar or something, and they're just like, "That's this movie."
Yeah, is
fuck?
anybody gonna marry my son? Like that's one of the lines in the movie. So
Wow.
what happens
Wow.
is that
Okay.
Gus and Jacques tell Cinderella in the beginning, well, Prince Charming doesn't know who you are. Why don't you just go and talk to him?
Let me
And
smell your
she's
feet.
like, well, no, why don't I just go talk to him? It's way easier than him trying to find me by putting on a shoe. They poke fun at every trope in the Cinderella movie.
"That's
That's
fun."
why I was like, this movie had, like, nobody oversaw this movie.
Just straight up meta.
Yes. It's great. Like, it is actually fun.
Well, why
and I hate saying
Anastasia?
that,
First of
because
all,
I hate-
Anastasia died. They know that now. So how old is this movie?
What? Anastasia didn't die?
Yeah, she did. She died as a kid. That was she died.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking? You talking about the princess chick?
I'm
There's a-
talking about Anastasia, the evil stepsister.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
a different
Not
Anastasia.
the movie
There's-
Anastasia.
Not-
the
not
the
Russian
real woman,
princess
not
that
the-
disappeared.
I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah,
remember
not
that shit.
her.
It looked like that did not look like the stepsister when I saw her. She looked pretty. They like
Are we
changed her
watching?
look.
Were we watching two different movies?
It was Anastasia at the altar. She didn't look ugly like she used to look in the other movies.
So in the movie, so
No.
in the Cinderella 3, she turns into Cinderella.
Ah, well, that would make more sense. Then.
Yeah.
I should probably watch movies instead of clips. But yeah, okay, go ahead. That's
Yeah.
literally all I saw, and I was like, "What the?"
Yeah,
fuck?
that's it. That's the end of the story.
That was it. No, go ahead.
The movie, like, so I don't like any of the direct-to-video sequels of Disney.
You don't have to lie to us. We're
But
gonna
this
judge
one
you
is-
either way. Just tell the truth.
I can see them on your DVD
You
rack
are.
behind
Yeah,
you.
right? It's like, did
This
you
isn't
want-
even a DVD rack.
Yeah,
It's
you want-
Blu-ray, get it right.
they just all start showing up one by one. God damn it, the green screen, no!
just admit you like Jafar and what was the other one? So
No, the King of Thieves, Mulan
Yeah.
2.
King,
So-
yeah. Anyway,
Look, I
go
watched
ahead.
them all growing
Somehow he
up.
knows them all, but
I was
he
just
doesn't
gonna
I
like
say-
them.
watched them growing up. Like, I'm not going to deny
Oh, okay.
that.
So
Okay, and Lion King 2 isn't really that bad. So anyway.
That was all right.
Yeah, I thought it was
Isn't
fine.
that Mufasa movie coming out soon?
Yeah, and it looks
Yeah.
awful.
Is
They
it
didn't
okay?
not
learn.
seeing it.
Scar.
they still have
That's
have
one of those
lists.
movies that Tom can confidently say, Laura, you're never going to see that movie.
Yeah, I can confidently say I'm not seeing that movie.
I'm not seeing it either. I
You
didn't
see
like. I
every
didn't.
movie.
I don't go to
No, I
movies anymore.
definitely, I have limits. I have limits.
You didn't go see
Yeah.
Migration?
I did not see Migration. I didn't see Dune 2.
Look, Migration. I did see
Uh,
Dune too.
Migration and Dune 2 on the same level, right there. Those two
We're the
movies.
same audience as
Did
well.
you, Jerry? Did you see Migration?
I did not see Migration.
Oh,
I did
well,
read this. I had read a synopsis of it before this,
Okay.
and I was
You
I had
read
the
the
same
book.
thought. Like,
The book is better.
he read the film adaptation
You read the
novel.
book. The book is
I remember,
always,
I remember
always
thinking
better.
they called it Migration, and they get all the way from like New England to like New York City, and that's pretty much it.
That's okay. Cocaine
That's-
Shark didn't have any cocaine in it or a shark, so you know.
No, it
Tell
didn't.
her.
False advertising.
Oh, I tried
did
to watch
watch
a shark movie the other last week. That's right.
What?
It's
I
called
watched Abigail.
it's called Something in the Water.
It was a shark.
And it's a shark. Surprise. It's a
Oh,
shark.
man, surprise.
Spoiler.
I
Yes,
got
spoiler.
like 30 or 40 minutes in and like
There was
I'm
no
like, where the
shark.
fuck is a shark? Like, what are we doing? Like, none of these characters matter. None of this situation is unique. Like,
Cocaine
oh, look,
shark.
here's a bunch of girls on a trip and they're going to get on a boat. And what's going to happen? I
they get
don't
naked?
know. Like, no,
Yeah,
there's no
Oh.
nakedness. Like, they tried to
That
make a
was more of a
real
shoot.
shark movie, Chad. This is a real
any
shark
feet?
movie.
No.
And,
What does
and I
that
literally
mean?
turned it off before I ever saw a shark. I was like, this is,
Are you gonna watch Trailer Park Shark? Because that's worth watching.
I
I
don't
want to hear it.
Wait,
I wanna
I want to
know.
know when you're saying
That's
a
the guy
real
from Saved by the Bell.
Tom.
Which one?
I gotta
Zach
know
or
The
Slater.
principal.
when you say real shark movie. Do you mean like real where people just sit on a boat and hope that a shark comes and attacks them to film the movie, or
like
real in the
Issues gone
context
wrong.
of like not a sci-fi film, not Ghost Shark,
Right.
not not like this weird crap. It's just like people, situation, and a shark. And
It would
and
be really
you know,
funny if
Shark?
at the end it was just like some really bad puppet like talk like, how's it going? And just this is terrible.
oh, it's like the doll shark.
I mean, listen, I'll say,
And it was voiced by Aquafina.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'll-
voiced by Aquafina, yes.
Voiced
I
by
will say
Aquafina.
that if that's
Hey,
what
what are
they
you doing
did,
here?
yeah, what something's in the water. Oh, it's a puppet.
Why are you in?
Um,
Haven't you seen a shark movie? Why are you in the water?
Is it
Yeah.
9 o'clock yet?
I hate the fact that I don't hate Aquafina, but there are some things that she just does not need to be in,
like
Like
movies.
everything.
like Migration. No, I liked her in Shang-Chi.
I don't
And
like
Rhea,
it.
I thought
she was in that.
You know what I think it is?
right,
I-
but
I,
she was actually good.
That's her thing.
I don't
So
like
her best
her
movie
voice.
is the one she's forgotten in. Is that's what you're getting at?
No, I'm just saying that you don't remember her being annoying in it because she was good.
Oh
in
no, I remember her
Shang-Chi.
being annoying because every time she was on the screen, I was like, "Get off this chick."
Aw.
This
Stop
movie would be better
talking.
if she was interrupted by a puppet.
That's right.
Right.
Or if she was played by a puppet. At least if she was a puppet, like a Muppet, like then maybe we have something.
She should
But-
do a movie where she is the whole movie's her and a puppet, and she also voices the puppet.
Oh,
No,
God.
every time
That'd
she
be-
goes to speak, the puppet cuts her off.
Yeah,
Puppet
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Inception?
It's like it's got to be like it's got to be like South Park with Cartman and Jennifer Lopez, like
Mr. Garrison.
Oh yeah.
Me gusta tacos.
This is my life.
I
That's
watched
great.
Abigail.
That's
I watched
great.
Aquafina
Abigail.
as Aquafina.
Hello.
You know what it is though? I don't know why it bothers me when she does any voices because first of all, her voice never changes. So all I ever do is picture her and it doesn't, if she's in a
Right.
cartoon, that's all I picture her. So no, her
Yep.
voice never changes. And it's just something about her voice that it's like, I'm not gonna say it's nails on chalkboard. It's not Maroon 5, but I mean, it's like, I don't know.
You know what it is? It's her, and there's like a handful of these actors and actresses that don't actually act. They're
Right.
just them
Well, she's
annoying
not even-
selves.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
not even an actress. She was a
But
YouTube.
she just plays
personality.
herself and everything. Like Christopher Walken, he doesn't act. He's
Yeah,
Christopher Walken in
but-
every goddamn movie.
Yeah,
Nicolas
but
Cage,
he's
like
Chris.
you can't stop them from being them.
Yeah, but he grew
Yeah.
into that.
Yeah,
like,
like,
the further
he's-
back you go, the more he tries. Like,
Yeah.
it's sort of like once he got to cowbell, he was like, "Well, that's the end of that."
I'm just
Yeah.
this is
Al
what I
Pacino,
do.
Al
This is
Pacino's
my
like
shit.
that. Al Pacino basically did like Scent of a Woman, and then he was that guy for the next 30
Yeah.
years.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm talking
Yes,
about. That's
aggressive
Aquafina,
yelling
and that's
and
why
not
it
aggressive
pisses everybody
yelling.
off because they keep giving her roles to be Aquafina in movies, and it ruins
It's
it.
like Chris Pratt. He's just Chris Pratt.
He's
Yeah.
just Chris Pratt. Yeah,
Even when he does voiceover work, he's just Chris Pratt.
exactly.
Well, yeah, it's Chris Pratt as Pratt.
Yeah.
So
It-
it's
I
Christopher
like-
Walken is the best, though.
But
You got, I mean, Christopher Walken.
Walken at
My
least
tooth.
has
You
a
ever see
way
that
of
movie? What's the
talking,
movie with
right?
him and The Rock?
with the
What's
Rock.
it called? The Rundown. The Rundown. Where
That's a great
Rock is
movie.
a bounty
That's a
hunter.
great movie.
I love
That's a
that
great
movie. But
movie.
Christopher Walken gives this speech about the tooth fairy to these people that don't
Yes.
understand English, and it's the funniest shit you will ever see. He's
I
like, I
laugh-
need my tooth back. You know, it's like, oh my god.
I laughed so hard in that movie when they have the stampede of cattle going through the town, and it's like I think it's like they have like what's that
That
song
guy's
that's in like
name.
every it's like fuck, what's the name of that song? The man in the back, as a matter of fact, in his eyes is that one. You know the song?
Ballroom
that's-
Blitz.
I think it's thank you,
Ballroom
Ballroom Blitz.
Blitz.
I think it's Ballroom Blitz playing, and there's like this
Are you
just
sure?
crazy
I
montage
think we
of
need
these
to hear it.
cattle,
It's just
Wanna make
crazy. It's some
sure.
Scottish
Hold on,
dude
I can
on
think of the chorus.
bagpipes.
and then it just cuts to Chris Walken watching it happening on a monitor in a dead
Yeah.
silent room, and he just goes, "Whoa, that's a
Yeah.
lot of cows."
The Scottish guy's like, boom shakalaka. And it's like, what is going on right now?
That's a lot of cows.
It's a lot
And
of
then
cows.
that's it. And I was like, I almost fell out of my chair laughing.
That's a great movie, by the way.
It
I
is
think
a good
The
I'm
movie.
pretty
Rundown?
sure I saw this
The
movie.
Rundown.
but
It has The
It's a
Rock.
good movie. It's a very good movie.
Stifler is
Yeah,
in it.
Stifler's in it. Yeah.
Yep.
They all get
Christopher
high on
Walken,
some drug and they
and
use
who's the
really bad
chick?
CGI for hallucinations.
It's not Rosario Dawson.
Rosario
Do you remember?
Dawson?
Do you remember the first scene? Do you remember the first scene in the movie?
The cooking.
Against the football team?
Yes.
Oh, the football. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
That
that,
was
was
great.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's in that very briefly.
Yeah, I
as well.
remember
Yes.
he was
Good
passing
luck.
the torch. Where he was like, "Good luck."
Yeah.
Yep.
That was a good movie. I want to watch that one again.
But before I
You're
forget
gonna
here-
watch that one again before you see something new.
Oh, Rosario
Probably
Dawson
because
is-
I can watch it from my house.
We know. We also know it's a good movie.
I only go to movies to see the anniversaries. I'm going to go see Shaun of the Dead this week instead of seeing and I pay more
Oh.
for it. It's like $3 more to see these old movies. I saw The
Legacy
Crow,
movies.
The Mummy. I missed Neverending Story, and I'm still mad about it. I blame
Mm.
Chad.
That's your own fault. I said you could cancel.
Yes,
so don't
you
even
did.
blame me.
I'm going to blame you anyway, but you're right. But yeah. Anyway, what were you going to say, Ray?
Oh no, I was just gonna say, do you guys in the States have the brand of bottled water called Aquafina?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
do.
I
Yeah.
want to see a bottle of Aquafina with Aquafina's face on it. I think
You can literally Google a
Before I
meme of
forget.
that and just
Like
find
you
it.
can get
I just tried
Stanley's
it. It's not there.
with
but-
Stanley's
Really?
face from
Yeah.
The Office.
Oh.
No, it's
What?
not there.
That.
Oh, Tom,
Stanley
I
from
did
The
watch
Office.
Abigail
Stanley.
a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I like that one. I thought that was
It's
pretty
okay.
good. Yeah,
Okay.
it's very.
Abigail,
It,
which one?
it's
See,
all-
for
it is-
me-
it's just fun.
For me, Abigail missed in two places. One, the pacing was terrible. There were way too many monologues. People standing around talking forever.
sure.
So it just kept slowing itself down. Like, oh my god, like let's go. And then the second thing is that they didn't go all in with her. Like they have a ballerina vampire, and like she barely ballerinas at all. There's like a couple of
Oh, that's so
ballerina scenes. Like
sad.
she should have been fucking running around the whole goddamn place, like
Yeah.
upside down, and like just go full ballerina mode. Like that's what I was wanting to see. Just go crazy, man. But it was a little too reserved in that sense, and
Yeah.
so I was I just kind of felt like you could have given me a little more. But it's okay.
Yeah.
It's
No,
the thing that
It's
came
fun.
after.
I think everybody I think it's
I'm not
very
sure.
aware of itself. I do
Sure.
like how everybody's just kind of like, oh shit, we have to kill a vampire now. Like, and they're just like, yep, this is what we're doing. So, and the acting is great, and I do like the visuals.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
and
okay. It's pretty high on my list. I mean,
Yeah.
Is there anything unique that it brings in regards to vampire lore?
No. Well,
No.
kind
How about-
of.
Yeah.
Again, I don't want to throw spoilers out, but to me, there is one little thing that they do that I
Mhm.
don't think that I have seen before. But
Mine's more unique.
other
love
than
it.
that, it's kind of more or less straightforward. Do
Boring.
you know what I'm talking about, Chad?
I think so, yeah.
That's
Pretty
a no.
sure. I'll mess
Tom.
it- no,
He said-
I-
he's just saying no. He doesn't know. He doesn't want to feel stupid. and say,
I'll message you.
Spoil that one for me. That's one I'm not
thank
going to
you,
see.
because I'm like I'm pretty sure I know which part you're talking about because I think I thought the same
Just
thing.
spoil it. I'm gonna change the title of the non-show to spoilers, and then we don't have to worry about it no more. Mine? Oh, mine's never gonna become a movie. But
I already know mine.
who's yours?
Oh, Robert Pattinson. 'Cause
Nice.
That's, that's who I based. That's who I.
So
based
you want me to
Otis
be
off
sure that I never watch your movie?
Ooh,
of. You know, did you read the book, so you'd understand.
Tom's not allowed to watch.
But I don't. I can't deal with that guy.
If mine
Oh,
is
okay,
ever
fine.
a movie, there's no way Tom is allowed to see it. But
You know what? I'm with Carissa on that
Yeah,
one. That's
yeah,
right.
there's
Tom
no
can
way.
never watch the movie.
no, there's gonna be like
I want red carpet access so that I
Yeah.
can get online as soon as it's done.
there's gonna be wanted posters on every theater. Do not let this guy in.
Whatever, Tom. You get the main acting role in my movie.
Nice. Lucky
Get
you.
Tom to
There you
help
go.
write it.
You're
You get to be
being
Jude
Can't hate
Sinclair.
his own stuff, Benny.
Whatever. Anyway,
You got a cowboy hat?
It would have been Christian Kane, and I love Christian Kane, but he's too old for the role now. And even though Jensen is pretty much the same age as me, he's always going to look the same. So Jensen, I would pick Jensen for it. But technically, somebody younger should do it. But I don't watch enough movies to be like, oh yeah, he's a good actor. I have no fucking clue. So I don't know. Lori would want probably Jensen would work for
Jensen
Lori.
would be perfect for Jude
Yeah.
Sinclair.
And we
Either him
love
or
Westwood.
Scott. I would also pick Scott Eastwood just because of the connection to like
don't know
Clint
him.
Eastwood, and
I'm gonna assume who he is,
Western.
but I don't know what he looks like or anything.
he looks exactly like Clint Eastwood. He's just a version of
And
him.
he's too
So
old.
Huh? He might be a little too old. Like, I mean, Jude's in his 30s, so you could get away with it.
Mine are 28 in Redemption, and I'm gonna go at 22 in the Western because they don't live as long, so we're gonna make them younger. So they're gonna be 22. But yeah, they have to be 28 in Redemption because they meet when they're 18, and I had to do that because of the damn outfit she was wearing. And then 10 years later, so they have to be 28. So originally she was 15, but she didn't look as sexy when you write it in words. So she became 18 when it became a comic book. And I'm like, fishnet stockings. Yeah, that might be a little bit too sexy for a 15-year-old.
18 plus.
Yeah, 18 plus. But yeah, so they're, yeah.
Back in the day, I always wanted Emma Stone to play Critter.
Nice.
But now that we're
Yeah. Older.
well far removed from that opportunity, I think she would still be great if we did like an animated series. She could still do the voice. Like that'd be
That'd be cool.
awesome.
Well, see, I wanted Christian Kane as the animated voice.
Super cool.
Always, yeah. That's what I wanted. It was supposed to be Christian because originally when we role played, we had the actors in mind. That was literally the whole point. So it was Christian Kane and Alana Tao. For anyone that knows, she's from Supernatural. She's Joe. But they were always the actors we had in mind. And Seth, for anyone that actually read it, is actually Jensen. And the brother Lucas is actually Jared, which is what they originally looked like in the first one. But we had to change it because it looked exactly like them. I was like, I'm gonna get sued. Not that anyone's ever gonna read it, but yeah. So we had to change it. But that was the original thought. And if anyone ever watches my fan videos, which are fortunately on private, those are the characters we have in mind. And I think Davies was Tim Hutton because he's in Leverage, and I can't remember who anyone else was, but technically in issues 14 through now 24, it was supposed to be Leon and Claire when we wrote it, but obviously we changed that and we made Leon more of an asshole because I realized in the novels he really didn't do anything too wrong, and poor Draven tortured him. So I was like, I'm gonna make him more of a dick in the comics so people don't hate Draven. So there's
He
that.
needed it.
Yeah, he did. Actually, my colorist's wife said, I hate these people. Why do they keep hanging out with them? I was like, they don't have a choice because he's the only way that knows the way. She goes, well, I hate them. I was like, you're supposed to.
You're
Supposed to hate
supposed
them.
to.
So I'm glad I rewrote it because you can hate them now. No.
Hate away.
Always.
Well, and I'll tell you this, I'm probably next week I'm going to be putting together like a full pitch for Princesses versus Zombies that's being sent to producer that wants to see it.
Cool.
Nice.
I'm sorry.
So,
What?
yep. Yep.
That's amazing.
Oh
Congrats.
yes. Yeah. So
Me
now
too.
we
I'm
got
gonna,
the now that we got the new issue out.
Sid, you want to like slide on my script? Just
This is generally why Tom was originally invited on the show, because I knew he would go somewhere. I didn't think he'd stay on the show. I was just trying to get on his good side the very first time. I think it was the very first or second show, and then he just never left. So now I'm forced to come here every week because of Tom. So, but now it might be, he's gonna get too famous and he's gonna be like, I don't have to do the show anymore. Then we could stop. Like, I'm waiting for Big Shark.
no, then we could start a fan club.
I'm already a fan of Tom, but he's still not watching my movie. So, sorry.
You can't stop me once it's on
Hey, man.
streaming. You can't stop me.
I'm
I'm
telling you, Tom. You can just,
I'm gonna block his IP address to his house. He's gonna have to watch me at like a
Tom,
library.
you can play the bear.
James.
He
That's
has
the
to
best
watch
role.
Naruto.
That's the
I'll
best
do that
role.
too. Just put me in like one of those
The bear
suit
Yeah.
with the, no, not even a fursuit, like the green suit. You can CG him,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'll do all the rawr and
See?
No, we'll do
you know.
animatronic.
Yeah.
Make it as
That's the
offensive as
best.
I'll be
That's
like
I would
I'll be like
absolutely watch
Benedict
that.
Cumberbatch when he played Smog. Did you ever
Yeah.
watch that video when he's
Oh, yeah.
he's doing all the CGI stuff? He's getting crazy. I will get crazy as the CGI bear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
I
I
that-
would watch that. In fact, I would only watch the behind the scenes. I don't even want to see the movie. I just want to see Tom doing all these funky things in the background, and then I'll be happy.
Tom in the dot suit. Rawr.
There's a question. What would be like number one bear movie? I mean, obviously we
Cocaine
talk
Bear?
sharks a lot here.
haven't
Well, if you
seen
really
that.
want a scary bear scene, The Revenant is by far. like,
That's where the bear got the
scary.
Oscar instead of Leo, right?
Yeah, pretty
Right.
much.
Oscar goes to
Leo
the bear
owes his
that beat up
Oscar to
Leo.
that bear. That's a scary bear.
I like The Edge with Anthony Hopkins
The
and
Edge.
Alec Baldwin.
I have not seen
Yeah.
that.
That one's solid. I like that one a lot. From what I remember, it's been a while.
Gosh, I can't think of too many bear movies. Cocaine
Cover
Bear. I mean,
Bear.
like Cocaine Bear because it's just about a bear.
What's
But
the one where
what
John
other bear
Candy
movies
shoots
are
the
there?
bear in the comic?
Jungle
Whoa.
Book? Was the Jungle Book
Oh
count?
no, it's
Jungle Book does not count.
no, he's talking about The Great Outdoors. That was
The
an
Great
amazing
Outdoors, yes.
movie.
That's a good one.
I love that.
That one's good.
He shoots the bear's ass, and then he's got a bear
Yeah.
ass the whole time. Yeah.
So there's an old movie called Grizzly back in the 70s. It's basically Jaws with a bear.
Ooh.
But they did a sequel that was never released. And it just came out on
Is it
Blu-ray
Disney?
a couple of years ago. And the opening scene has Laura Dern, George Clooney, and I believe Charlie Sheen as the opening scene where the bear comes and offs all three of them at the beginning
That
of the
one-
movie.
That movie's on Shudder too, by the way. So Grizzly.
Yeah,
Okay,
Grizzly. Well,
I
yeah,
now
and then
have my
Grizzly
list of
2 is
things I
just
need to
something that was
watch.
just never released.
So they
There's
filmed
a
it
movie
and
called
released it.
Grizzly Rage, Monster Grizzly. I don't
what's
know
the
if
one-
these are
oh,
is
The
this horror
Edge.
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember The Edge?
Yeah, I was just saying that one with like Anthony Hopkins and
I ain't
Yeah,
seen- I
yeah,
haven't
that
seen
one's
it.
great.
Unnatural.
That
What's
one's so good.
this?
That's a good one.
A morally ambiguous corporation experiments with
Look
genetic
at a bear
modification,
movie for
resulting
us.
in a creation of a man-hunting bear creature.
Did you ever see that Russian Avengers movie called The Guardians?
I know of it,
No.
but I never
There,
saw it.
one of the heroes is
It's-
a humanoid grizzly bear that's like 8 feet tall and it wields a minigun and
Yeah,
roars as it's shooting
so
a gun.
that movie was meant to be The Winter Guard, which was a Russian Avengers, but they couldn't. Obviously, they couldn't get that out of the Winter Guard. So
Yeah,
they
Putin
called
said
it
no.
Guardians, Yeah. So yeah.
One that I do recommend is called Kill Team Kill. It's one episode of Love, Death, and Robots, season 3, episode 5. Watch that one. Bears. Well, specifically one bear.
The Bears.
That was a good one.
Bears.
I mean, it's not even that long. How long is this thing? Do.
I'm just gonna pick a random animal and go on Tubi and watch every horror movie
See,
from
the-
it, and then
the
move on to the
interesting-
next damn animal.
The interesting thing about the bears is that they're all just bears, right? Like there's no. Well, you had that one where you were like, "We make this weird monster bear thing," but like even when you do like crocodile movies and stuff, like they can kind of get like dinosaurish and crazy and weird. But like bears are just like, "Hey, there's a bear in the forest."
We
Kill
saw
Team
we saw
Kill. Go watch it.
Velociraptor.
13
What did we
minutes
see,
on
Dad?
Netflix. 13 minutes on Netflix. Go watch. Kill Team Kill.
The Velaptor priest. Was it?
Velocipaster.
There you
Velocipaster.
go.
That one's
Yeah.
funny.
That's a
But,
great movie.
I think
it's not
my
just a bear.
No, it's a Velocipaster.
No, I just like the
Oh,
way
I
it
thought
said
it was the other
CGI.
one.
What was it? CGI.
CGI
like-
gator.
No, I have to see that too.
There's also CGI shark.
Yeah, there's both of those.
Bad
CGI,
CGI
right?
shark and bad CGI gator. I saw bad CGI gator as well.
How was it?
Was it bad?
Better than
It was
Doll
a- it was
Shark.
bad. Here's the thing: bad CGI shark it knows what it's doing. Like that's the purpose of it.
Yeah.
Bad CGI gator is trying to mimic that.
But it's not the same creators.
No, it's
Okay.
not. It's by Full Moon, which if you're familiar with them, they did Ginger
They-
Dead Man and Full
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Puppet Master. So
They make the schlock.
yeah, they make schlock, which I mean,
Island
I
of
like Puppet
Death in a
Master.
Row.
So, but yeah, it's not. It's just it's trying to be a cash grab off of that. So I wouldn't really recommend it.
I have no idea if Llamageddon knew what they were doing, but I'm curious to find out.
Llamageddon popped up in a Facebook group recently.
It's
too.
like the worst
yeah.
movie ever.
It was.
It-
It was.
Not
it said
only
that
is it
this
the
was.
worst movie, it has the worst scene ever with I'm never gonna get past the hentai llama thing going
Yeah,
on.
bro.
Like, I'm scarred for life. That's it. Tentacles from a llama, doing it with a guy.
It's
and
your
with
own
some
fault.
dick.
You chose to watch that stuff.
Let me tell you something.
I didn't tell you to watch it.
Was worth it.
I point you in the right direction, Carissa. I'm trying to get you into things of.
This was
of,
before you, or before I listened to you. I don't know, but I don't even know where that came from. It showed up as a suggestion, which makes me wonder what the hell I've been watching on TV. To
Yeah,
make
that's
something
fair.
like this
Yeah,
up.
what the hell else
But
am I
the
been
very
watching?
beginning, if they made an animated movie just like the very beginning, I probably would buy it. That was like the Little Mermaids on crack. I mean, that was awesome. Like My Little Pony, whatever, was awesome. But whatever.
When I was I would say
Oh,
20 years ago, I had a buddy who used to write coverage on screenplays, and he was working. I think it was Hallmark, and Hallmark used to do. I see John Davies in the comments said something about like the B movies they would do every weekend on Sci-Fi. I think the Hallmark production company would produce a bunch of them, so he would just get a stack of like 50 of these screenplays to read, and they enjoyed his coverage so much they finally just asked him like, hey, why don't you write one of these? Like, just pick something you haven't seen yet and like make up. It's like they all have the same formula. It's like human beings go somewhere where they shouldn't go. They find some demonic version
That's
of a
like
llama or a bear or
That
something.
would be an
And so-
amazing anthology title. Humans go places where they shouldn't go.
They
That's
shouldn't
your
go.
title.
That's good. I like that. And then we
Why
spent like
don't
a whole weekend just coming up with titles for movies.
Yeah.
And we came up with Shell Spawn, which was like Shell Spawn was a zombie movie, except it was gigantic land turtles instead of zombies.
We have a zombie turtle in one of ours.
There we go. We had one called Claws. It was like Jaws, but with cats. So the tagline was like Jaws on paws.
I would totally watch that.
Claws, like Jaws on paws. We
Mm-hmm.
had a lot of fun just making shit up like that. That was good.
Awesome.
But
I
it was
love
just that kind of like, yeah, you just kind of it's a formula, you know. Shell Spawn.
Lori, you want to write another story?
Sure.
Okay, it's about humans going places where they aren't supposed to be.
I
Done.
love it. Done.
Watch
That's
this-
like where I live, Tom.
I need like a bunch of 10-page stories.
How many?
How much time you got tonight?
I'm writing it tonight.
Yeah.
Oh,
You got 15 minutes to give me 8
Shit.
ideas.
okay. Well, we can at least brainstorm some.
So we'll do these now. So
Bad
get it out of the way. So
Madcaps number 2. Ooh, when's this?
Number
going?
2. So
Go ahead.
with
Go
issue
ahead,
1 out, I
Ray.
can finally talk a little bit more about the first issue. I had to be very vague when I was advertising it this whole time. This one isn't launching until in the new year, so this is actually the first time I've actually shared the link with anybody. As you
Oh.
can see, I don't have a lot of followers yet, but just excited to talk a little bit about it and how these there's a correlation between a zombie outbreak and a local drug problem, and these 4 friends are kind of stumbling into how this came to be. So issue 2 of 3 is just a big setup for number 3. There's a lot of cool little moving pieces in this little short story, and it all has a huge payoff. But not
Most
too
number
much else.
two set up 3. Just FYI.
Well, we'll say it's like the Two Towers equivalent, not a filler, but it's decent on its own kind of.
Buy it.
I'm not saying it's quality of Lord of the Rings or not. I'm just saying it is definitely not a filler issue. That's all.
Oh, I don't even know what a filler issue is. I had 2 that weren't pure action, so I deleted them. So, because when I was writing in a novel, we would just write whatever we want, and then I was putting it on in the comics. It's like, oh, I go fight a ghost, and that's okay, but we'll just get rid of this. But yeah, you said it comes out next year.
Thanks, John. Thanks very much.
Yeah, so it comes out next year. I put the link in the Facebook and YouTube.
Thank
so
you kindly.
check that out. I live to please. So there's that. And you have a place where people can buy one now, or do they have to wait until this comes out again?
Fulfillment for issue number 1 is we're off to print right now. So once we send those out, you'll be able to find them on Phil's website, and I'll be able to give more details at that point.
Exclusive here, people. Okay, next. I don't know why I always think by going to the tab I could share it, but it's only been I've only been doing this for
You go
8
on the
months.
tab, and there should be a share this tab
There is
at the
See,
top.
then I was right. So there. I don't know.
That's
so-
not it presents.
That's
The
how it presents the
Cloakroom.
Cloakroom.
No
So this one's mine.
video.
No, I don't do a video. I do a video for it. This is it's an anthology series I publish with a partner of mine named Veronica Howell. We're both in Scott's Substack. His like a writing workshop that he does through the class. So what we do is we publish the stories that all the students work on in the class as part of this ongoing anthology series. We have a new issue every 3 months. This is number 2. There's a predecessor series called the Tales from the Cloakroom. That was just 2 larger volumes. Different groups of people have published those, but you can pick them all up through the Kickstarter here. And this one is 6 new stories. The first issue was 7 stories.
Hey, John.
They're pretty hefty issues. I got a copy in my hands that I'll show you when you're. Yeah, those are each of the little stories in there. They're all genre spanning. One's a mystery, one's a zombie apocalypse story, and one's like a cautionary fairy tale. They're all very cool. Well, that's it. I'm the editor, and I'm the co-editor and the publisher.
You wear all the hats? My God.
I wear so many hats.
So many hats.
I had to
Very
take 4 of
cool.
them off just to put this one on today.
I
Chad
also
has
put the
Pokemon hat.
link in the
Do you have a Pokemon hat?
places that links go.
Mm.
You have
Oh,
some-
what do you want to show? You got
Some
things to show? I don't know how to do that.
Oh, I had the thing. I had the. This is the first issue. It's very shiny.
Ooh,
see?
I learned I did it.
But that's the first issue, which is also available in there. And then it's a perfect bound book. It's 60-something pages.
Very
Wow.
nice.
Second issue is 70 pages, so it's hefty, and it's a lot of good stories in there.
I'll do mine because it ends. It won't be here next week.
No, we'll just
It'll
start the next one.
probably already be shipped. I don't know. Yeah, I have to go here. So this is mine. Everyone's already seen it, but it's mine.
Hooray!
Hooray! Yippee! So 4 days left. It is 40 pages for still $10, and we have some really cool covers, and we have 2 versions of this one. She had the wrong outfit on, so here you go. And then here are internal pages. So, and this is one of my favorite because she's like badass with a pencil. So.
She's John Wick.
Yeah, she's just like, she did it worse in the novels, but I made it a little less gruesome here. And then
Why?
we have, there was a scene that Draven, what issue was it? 11, where he
Yes,
kills
John Davies. Help. Get it to 100 backers.
I love John Davies.
Yeah.
So there was a scene that my co-writer wrote for Draven, killing the guy in the asylum, and I had them. I think I had it. They stabbed him in the eye or whatever, slashed his throat. When Draven did it in the novels, it was like a chapter long of what he did to this poor guy. He deserved it, mind
You
you.
deserved it.
But it was gruesome, and I was like, yeah, I don't think I could have that in the thing. But
Totally should have had him skinning the guy.
Oh, it wasn't just that. He was like he took out his organs and stuff, and
He made him a human puppet, just like the shark puppet we were talking about
pretty
earlier.
much. Yeah. And I guess I'll show these because it looks pretty.
Ooh, shiny.
Tiny.
Ooh.
Ah,
And they're 5 of 5. There's only
wow.
5 of these. Yeah. And then I also have 5 in our cards. I have 5 of the and I should probably figure out how to record it. I have 5 of the black light, and I haven't even tried it yet because I had to wait for Amazon to send me my little black light, which apparently find urine stains from cats was the explanation of me buying the UV light. But yeah, so that's the whole pretty thing. Shiny. And then of course there's like 1,000 goals. So we have our own stretch goals. So if you spend over 50, there's stickers and all that fun stuff. I'll do the video because it's 1 minute, but and I always like to hear if Lori can sing the zombie song. So.
Here it is.
Can you tell I want animated? So anyway, yeah, that ends Friday at 8 or 9 or I don't know, whatever.
I like how Anubis at the end was like, "Come at me, bro," kind of thing.
Actually, you know what's
I
really
was
funny
gonna say
about that? Someone did that for me for free. Like,
Oh, that's awesome.
it took him like 3 months to do it, and it was longer. It's actually 3 times longer, but I speed it up and I don't do the whole. There's a whole scene in the beginning where just the staff is like glowing, and he walks in and he stares at it. I was like, dude, you spent, and then I wanted to hire him to do it. He's like, no, I'm busy. Like, really? Like, biggest tease ever. Like, what the fuck? I was pretty pissed. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, go search Worthy Chaos on Kickstarter. After Friday, of course, I will drop the next link. It'll be the hardcover coming October 14th. And then issue 13 will be January, and we're hoping that the Western will start in February. The pages have already started. We have a new artist, and I'm very excited to see that because I've never had pages traditional before, ever. So since I can't sell them, at least the ones with Seraphina and Draven, I'm gonna have a stack, like a room, just of all these pages that I can't do anything with. And I'm excited for it. I'm going to split it with my co-writer except for issue 1. And then it'll be kind of cool to have some. We're gonna share it. We're gonna lay them out and get to pick them like it's candy. So we'll see how that works. I get first pick.
Couldn't you maybe make them as add-ons? People would buy
Yeah,
them.
so I'm gonna make. We have an obsession with our
Really?
characters. So yeah, nobody knew this. I know. Lori's shocked above anyone. However, any scenes that Seraphina and Draven aren't in, like Davies or some of the cryptids or whatever, then
Okay.
I'm gonna sell those.
Okay. I was
Maybe.
like, she won't part with them.
No,
Dream on.
no, I won't part. Yeah, no. So no covers can go, none of that. However, I told Lori this, and I'm super excited about it. We're making these jars. So in the Western, they're
Oh, you're
hunting-
gonna spill the beans. Don't spill the beans.
Okay, I guess now I have jars. I'm not allowed to tell you anything about
There's
it.
a hint involving
There's a
jars.
secret reward coming that she's working on that's super cool.
It's pretty awesome.
And we're not going to
don't
tell
go
you.
Well, I don't go well with the word secret when it's my own, but fine, we'll go with that.
This is the problem you have.
Just
I
use
do.
different words. Use something extreme that makes people even more intrigued. Say something like national security or something.
Top secret. But
There you go.
It's top
So-
secret what she's working on. She can't
Yeah.
tell you what it is.
and of course, because
Yes.
I don't
Involving
have any
jars.
self-control, I went on a shopping spree and bought them all. But I they're like for the next fucking 3 years? So
She's
am I
gonna have so much fun working on them. So
I am. Like, I went through all, and I have a wholesale website. So my curator would be like, what about these? Is like, that's $2 each. Hold on. Okay, I found them for 25 for 2. I was like, so like, I'll get those. So we're having a lot of fun and stuff. And I owe it all to Lori, because Lori's way less lazy than me. So she's always making stuff. And the only reason why
I am
I'm
making stuff.
so she
Tom
makes
tells me to get a life.
Yeah.
Stop making things. Go watch a movie.
No, get a different life.
Oh yeah, go watch a movie.
That's
Stop,
true. Yeah,
Stop,
there's,
stop finding books. Stop dressing up as Pikachu and being weird.
Wait, we have moonshine in Canada? What the hell?
You know what? It's actually just flavored water. That's all.
Oh, we are disappointed.
Yeah.
We could have made up any story there, Ray, and we would have.
How do you know I didn't make that up?
Because you said it too quick.
Yeah, he did. You know, the only thing that sucks about Tennessee, well, there's a lot of things, but one of the things that sucks about Tennessee is when you're driving and there's a new place opening, it's probably going to be moonshine. Like, it's like all moonshine. I don't even drink. Like, I don't drink. But we go to like Gatlinburg and it's like moonshine, brewery, moonshine, brewery. Yeah,
I'm
so-
told the gauge of knowing how good the moonshine is how many X's are on the outside of the jug. Is that true?
That's how strong it
Is
is.
it
That's
in a
what-
More
brown
X's, the
jug?
worse, right?
It's the same rating system as porn.
Oh,
The more X's, yeah.
Is that a thing for both? Is there a quadruple X?
Apparently, I
And
did not
both.
know that.
hey,
I
Ray,
learned so
both
much on this show. That's why Tom
quadruple
comes
X
back.
will
Teach
make
us.
you go blind.
That's for either or, right?
That's across the board.
Yeah, that is across the board. So I don't know. So it's 9, and since it takes us like an hour to say goodbye,
Oh.
you got things to announce, Lori? Because you got
Yeah, because you know what? My kids are back in school, so guess
Yes.
what? I don't get to hang out late anymore. 8 o'clock
Yeah.
at my time, and I got to run because
Yeah.
they got to go to bed.
Yet
Um,
the time she took to explain all of that, she could have finished
I'm-
saying what she had to
You
go.
know
and go
where
put her
I
kids to
am,
bed.
people.
Whatever.
I'm on
Whatever.
social media, every goddamn place. Come watch my show, the Tuesday Morning Brew, on Tuesdays. That one's a lot of fun. Not this week, but next week is my 100th episode hosting the Tuesday Morning Brew. And I'm
Nice.
going to smash the hell out of a jackfruit dressed up as Pikachu and light it on fire. Well, it's going to have sparklers in it. So the sparklers will be on fire. People, the poll is still open. You can decide what to name this sucker.
I should have been
Yeah.
on your 100th episode. I've been on like 100 times.
Lori,
I'm
I would get a
fucking working.
poll of what you should scream out after smashing the jackfruit.
I think there's an over under already on the wooden stool that I use to hold the fruit and vegetables. I think they're already betting on how many slice and dices this thing will survive. I don't know if it's gonna
Lori, just so you know.
survive much longer. What's winning this time is the two-handed axe. So that's gonna
Ooh.
go right in. I don't know if it's gonna make it. The sledgehammer, it survived the sledgehammer a few times. So we'll see.
I
But
picked
yeah,
out
so in
Lori's
2
show
weeks,
on
I
another
will
show.
be Pikachu. We're gonna have some guests on the show. Path of the Pale Rider is still in production. Gilbert is diligently working on 2 things at the same time, Path and another book. So unfortunately, we have to vie for his time, but it's still in production. I have some big announcements this week. I'm waiting for pictures to come through. The Funko Pops, I think, are almost done. So she'll be sharing the new Funko Pop. And I got something I'm working on Thursday, which is I'll have to show you guys. I can't sit on it. So once those are done, I'll share pictures of those too. So I got lots of stuff. I just can't talk about it right now. But join me for the brew. At the end of this week, I'm going to be doing the Any One World. It's the annual virtual con. So I'm going to be streaming on Thursday and Friday multiple times. So you'll see me there. You can join us. There's a lot of fun things. They got a ton of shows lined up. So make sure you tune in for that. And now I am done. My
And
job.
now for something completely different. What? What, Ray? What?
Oh no, I was waving because Laura just going. I was waving.
Yeah, because I got to go. I might as well just go. I said goodbye.
Bye.
So
Nobody wants you here anyway. Bye.
nobody loves me. La la.
I love you and I missed you already. Go.
All right, bye.
Okay, go ahead, Jerry. Are you still there? Or is he frozen?
Might have froze.
I never know.
I'm back.
because-
Oh, there
There
it
you go. Jerry, do you
Was it
want to
just
do
me?
your whole-
You're
Yeah,
good
you
now.
were frozen. Yeah.
Oh, I thought everyone else froze. I was very confused. I was very concerned.
Okay,
We'll just go
everybody.
with that so you feel better. But yeah, so why don't you do your whole spiel? Tell everybody where they can find you or whatever real shows do we pretend to be. So go ahead.
I'm at Thorny Comics on Instagram and Twitter. The big thing I'm trying to push now is my Substack, which is jerrycarita.substack.com. And I feel like I'm streaming on someone's show live almost every night. So you can almost always find me sitting in this ridiculous room with these note cards behind me. And yeah, the current Kickstarter is The Cloakroom. Scott Snyder presents The Cloakroom. I have a pre-launch page up for my first full issue of another project I do called Cicada Samurai. And that is my whole spiel, I think.
Awesome. Your thing
Thank you,
looks I have to phrase that better because I can't say the thing. Your campaign looks very very good. It looked great.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate
a lot
it.
of great art. Yeah. And Tom, do you want to do a spiel or do you want to just say you're from Big Ink and that's it and go follow and wait for his movies to come out and find Big Shark?
in the holy hell is Big Ink?
Big Dog Ink. Yeah. That you want to say you do your own thing? That's it. So we don't have to do it.
Well, I think that should be a challenge for everybody to make some type of logo or subtitle to Big Ink. I think that would be a good job for me.
Big Ink for Big Shark.
So I am going to be on Lori's show in 2 weeks, 2 weeks
See
from
Jerry.
tomorrow, on September 3rd. And then on September 7th, we are launching an experimental campaign, a little back to school book fair. We're going to be doing that for about a week to 10 days in September.
about
And then in
10 grand?
October, middle of October, I think the 13th, we'll be launching our October 13th, we'll be launching the full Critter number 24 campaign. That'll be our last campaign of the year. And then that'll roll us into 2025, which is our 15-year anniversary. And we'll have Critter 25 in January and then the Return of Penny for Your Soul in March. And that'll get us all kicked off. And I'm going to be in 4 cons in 5 weeks in September. So
Oh wow.
we'll be in Detroit, Monroe Pop Fair, but Monroe Pop Fest the following week in Baltimore. And then we take the first week of October off. And then, the last week of September off. Then the first week of October, I'm in St. Louis for MightyCon. And the week after that, I'm in Texas, San Antonio for Big Texas Comic Con. So, yeah.
Right on. Tom, I got a question. You mentioned this book fair that's done via Kickstarter.
Mhm.
How does that play out? Is it just you've got a bunch of previous books for discount price, or?
Yep. Basically, yeah, we're going to have a couple of new things because I think you're required to have a couple of new things whenever you do a Kickstarter. So we'll have a couple of new sort of back to school variant covers. But then the bulk of the campaign will be essentially our back catalog, all of our trade paperbacks and stuff available.
Cool.
So that anybody that's missed out on anything can catch up. If they're new, they can get all of it. They can get one issue, whatever. Get to the whole point is to get people prepped for the 2025 15-year anniversary so that they have what they need to know what's happening throughout 2025.
So you're gonna have the rest of the Critter trade paperbacks too?
Yeah, all of it.
Right on.
Part of all things you get, Chad.
Some.
What? I'm collecting the Critter trades. It was the first trade I ever bought.
That's
So
adorable.
I gotta buy it again. So
Why?
know.
What happened to you?
Well, you don't have to
Tom?
buy it again. You can buy the other ones
I was
on their
gonna say,
own.
what
Two,
Well,
three,
no,
four,
I know.
five.
I'm gonna buy the remaining ones. No, the first one. I actually don't know what happened to the first one that I bought. That's why I bought it on during the Kickstarter and everything.
Okay.
So
All right.
I was like, damn. So anyway, yeah.
Yeah, you'll be good to go.
Chad.
What? Oh
Anything to
yeah. Yeah, I do. So currently, I'm trying to actually. It's fun that Jerry said that. I'm actually trying to push my Substack, which is Substack / Rolling Squid, which is Rolling Squid Bones, which is my little studio. I have issue 2 is currently in production of Set the Hook. So if you like a man who's very angry at fish and also sexy tentacles, issue 2 will definitely be for you. And I just greenlit Bark in the Water, which follows the story of a dog wearing a salmon suit. So that's going to be a one-shot series, which is set in the universe of Set the Hook. And I have dubbed it
on the weekend.
Why isn't it just about a dogfish?
because it's
It is a dog with a fish
it's
suit.
a dog with a fish suit. It's a dogfish. Get it?
No.
Get it? Dog.
There's a kid show out right now
Get
called
it?
Shark Dog.
So anyway.
Oh wow.
So I have that, and then I'm also working on Ginger. Alex Lottle is the next series that I am currently working on
it.
as well. And that
Wow.
follows the story of Ginger from the Set the Hook main series. So, yep. Oh, and also everybody's fulfillment should be making their way to their houses. I know Krista got hers, and Lori got hers. John got hers. Anyway, everybody should be getting their fulfillment for Set the Hook #1. So, and then join me Thursdays for the RSVP at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with C. Michael Lanning on the Indie Comics Network. And also in 2 weeks, Ray and I will be playing Dungeons and Dragons with Mike again.
With our comic characters.
With our comic
Bring it over.
characters. So we might
Very
be
cool.
live streaming that one too. I might
Good.
send up a
I was
live
going to bring that up. I'm looking forward to that. That was a
Yeah,
lot of
me
fun
too.
last time.
It was a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to it as well. So, all right.
Ray.
Anyway, I got to run. So I'll talk to you later.
Cheers.
Bye.
Just look up the Madcaps on
And then there
Facebook.
was 3. Sorry.
And there was-
And now the show keeps going because we got rid of the dead weight.
Accurate.
Chad, that was funny.
He logs back on. You let him in again.
I know.
Note for me, you can just find me on Facebook and also Instagram, and you can find the Madcaps Facebook page. Obviously, Chris already left the link for Kickstarter for issue #2. You will also have access or the option to get issue 1 again. More details to come. I literally lost an artist and gained one hours before this started, but it's just getting going. I'm excited to bring this all to fruition. It's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying the experience.
I don't know if I'm enjoying the experience, but I guess so.
It's
Sure.
about the destination. It's about the journey. You get to BS with people like Tom, Chad, and Lori.
Oh, I live for Tom, man. I just, if I ever start losing any doubt, I'm like, but Tom's on Monday. I can't let him down. So last week I did, but he had a bad back anyway. So I'm just going to say I helped him by not being here. I actually had COVID. I'm pretty sure I had COVID because the new COVID is 5 days. And like,
It's the same COVID.
I'm just,
It's the same COVID.
it lasted 5 days. But it seems like everyone's lasted. When I had it years ago, mine lasted, actually I had no symptoms the first time. I had a fever for 1 day. Actually, I got a fight with my parents over it because I wasn't vaccinated. And they all were like triple vaccinated. And when they get COVID, they get like all these symptoms. And my dad literally said, "Why don't you get symptoms?" And I was like, "Do you want me to get symptoms?" Like,
The one time I had COVID, I was, my wife did the test and she gave me the test after, and I don't know how to read it. I'm like, what does this mean? She says,
"You pregnant?"
it means you're pregnant.
Yeah. Yeah, my husband got it and he got like no taste, no smell for like, he still doesn't have it back fully. I had a fever for 1 day. The same thing this time, I had a fever for 1 day. So I think it was COVID. I don't ever care. I don't take tests. It's not really worth it because what am I going to do if it is positive? It's not like I leave my house anyway. But
I got double pink eye for whatever reason. Apparently that's something people.
You had double pink eye?
I've never had pink eye in my life. When I tested positive, I had double pink eye. That's the only reason I tested, because I had no other symptoms.
If I'm gonna get COVID, it's now, because fucking Chicago Comic-Con was a sea of people.
Just a cesspool.
An absolute sea of people everywhere. I mean,
That's where I think I got it. I was the guest. I was at
sure,
the
a
guest
lot of people
con.
got it at San Diego. You heard it as a San Diego thing. People were coming out with COVID at San Diego. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was literally like I got home Sunday, and I think Tuesday, Wednesday, I started getting a little stiffy, and then
Right.
I was like, shit. I had a great time being a guest. Even if it doesn't ever happen again, but I did enjoy it. It was marred by the end. I think I talked about it last time, the whole walking to my car twice, 3 times, whatever, for freaking a mile. Not that my fat ass didn't need it, I just didn't want to do it. But yeah, I don't have any. Oh, well, I'm going to a con, but I'm so annoyed with it because it's in New Orleans for one. Which nothing against New Orleans, it's just 9.5 hours. I've never been there, so to me, it's a whole other world. It's like going to California.
Oh,
so
it is a whole different world. That's
Yeah.
correct.
So, and I'm going by myself because my husband won't go.
You're gonna eat the gumbo.
I'm good.
Gonna make a
Probably-
name for myself out of this.
Probably not.
Ooh.
But I am going to see. Well, I'm going to see Christian Kane. That is the only reason why I'm going. And I'm pretty positive the second I get there, they're going to announce it in Nashville. But I'm like, I literally bought. I've been waiting like 20 years to meet this guy. So either he's going to be sick the week of, or I'm going to be sick the week of. The only thing that annoyed the hell out of me was the tickets came up for sale. I already bought his concert ticket, his autograph, and his photograph. And if you bought the one ticket above mine, it includes the autograph and the concert ticket for like $20 more than my go into. So I would have saved like $100. So I'm like, screw you. And then they were like sold out in like 5 minutes because I guess it's really small. And I was waiting for my friend to get back to me if she was coming. So I had to buy 2 single days. So I was a little pissy. And I have no idea what to expect for this one because I've only ever gone to like the Supernatural ones. It's the same company. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I don't like going to places that I haven't been before. I'm a wuss. So we'll see how it is. All I know is you can't drive anywhere. It's like a city, I guess. Everything's you got to pay. It's $45 a night for my hotel.
Yeah, when you get into New Orleans proper, you can drive. It's like New York. You can drive, but
Yeah.
it's not really great
Ideal?
driving. Yeah, it's not great
Not
driving. It's
ideal driving.
old city driving. So it's not
I mean, I had to be really careful because the hotel's really expensive. It's only 0.2. I don't know if I can walk in New Orleans. I have no idea how safe it is. But it's 0.2 away. So I assume I'm going to walk there. But there was like a hotel half the price. And I was smart enough to see that you can't park there. They have no parking whatsoever. And that's why it's cheaper. And I was like, well, son of a bitch. So I stuck with mine. But mine's like $150 a night plus 45. It doesn't even include the parking, but it's automatic, but you have to pay it. It's
Yep.
$45 a night. So that'll be interesting. The part that I hate the most is I have to tell them by the 4th if I can't go on the 8th. Usually it's like the day before. So I don't know. We'll see. That makes me nervous because if Christian Kane gets sick or I get sick, it's like, I'm out like $500. So that'll be fun. So it's literally the weekend right before I launch. So if I don't launch on time, I didn't survive New Orleans. But we'll see how that goes. I don't know. I'm a little nervous. So we'll see.
Where do
Anyway.
you think the border is? You're mentioning it's a whole nother world from where you guys are. Where is there like a specific transition point, like a certain border or anything like that? And I don't mean like South Park from like the States to Canada where it's like
Well,
snow and
it's-
stuff, something
it's
like
the
that.
city. I mean, when you're talking about in the South, once you cross over into Louisiana, you start seeing all the swamps and stuff, and it just starts to get old. Everything starts to
Gotcha.
get old. You know what I mean? Like Haunted
Mhm.
Mansion style, and then once you're in New Orleans, there is some modern stuff, but a lot of it is just very, very old, hundreds years old buildings, and it's because nothing's been torn down and rebuilt.
bring it
It's
back and
all
vote.
just it's there because it's all old, and they're like, hey, this is our culture, this is our it's
Reminds me of
we want
Montreal
these
the way you describe that. Kind of like an older section. Even the driving. I heard a comedian make a joke about Montreal. Like you can't turn right on a red light, but you're allowed to like drive right through it.
Yeah, it's weird. And then you get to certain areas and you literally can't drive. They will not let you drive through. There are streets, but you're just walking everywhere you go. Like when you go down to Bourbon Street, that whole area and most of it around it is just, you have to walk about
So basically,
quarter mile to
if
get
you
into
try
it.
to drive through those areas, will you like get pulled
You literally
over?
can't. You can't.
Oh, you
like it's
physically cannot.
cordoned off. Yeah.
I
The streets
understand.
exist, but you will be forced to go somewhere else. You can't go in there. Yeah.
That's wild.
And it's a pretty big, area of Bourbon Street and the surrounding areas that, you really can't drive in. But yeah, it was something. It was funny because I went down there for Comic-Con and, I was there with Jen Broomall. We were like, hey, let's go to Bourbon Street. Yeah, cool, Bourbon Street. We come down, we're walking down whatever street we're on, and we're like, okay, hang a left. There's Bourbon Street. Wow, make a left. There's a dude passed out on the floor. Like the instant we turn the corner, there's a dude on the floor passed out. And then as we're walking down all of the buildings, it's like pizza, beer, pizza, porn, pizza, beer, pizza. I was like, what is this place? This is ridiculous. There's no wonder they're like throwing beads on naked chicks. Like this is what they do here, apparently. It's crazy.
I would absolutely flash for beads.
It is crazy. And then there's a big gold Joan of Arc statue down on the far end because she's the patron saint down there. There's all kinds of like haunted tours and vampire tours and fortune tellers and that's all in in the primary city like Bourbon Street and all the stuff that's around it. It's very voodoo. There's voodoo.
I was about to ask that.
Yeah, there's
that
voodoo stores. 100%. There's voodoo stores around. Yeah. So it's wild. And then when you go into the restaurants, it's all Cajun, man. Like don't expect anything but Cajun. And right to the point where it's like, if you want to eat alligator, you can eat alligator. It's on the
I
menu.
like alligator. I like it. Alligator's pretty good. But
Yeah.
I don't like spices, so I'm gonna have to eat.
That was my
hard.
problem. I had to really dig to find something that didn't have like
Yeah,
char and like the
Yeah.
heavy hardcore stuff. So you might want to just find McDonald's.
Yeah, do they have Chick-fil-A? I don't know. That's all I know.
Only
but,
half spice on the Chick-fil-A's.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. It's so funny because I am completely naive with the whole where states are. If I haven't been there, I don't like. I saw a map the other day, and I was like, "That's where." I was like, I had no idea that that's it. And it took me. Actually, it took somebody making fun of how stupid somebody is, not knowing where Alaska was, for me to look up Alaska. And I was like, "Well, shit, I didn't know it was there," because every map since the day I was born, it's just this little thing on the bottom.
Looks
of
like
the
an
map.
island.
Yeah, like
I've seen those. Yeah.
Yeah, so I had no idea. I had never bothered to care enough to think about where it was, but I had no idea where it was.
Alaska shows the weakness of Canada because it's
Yeah.
attached to Canada and they just leave it alone. Now, so either Alaska is either terrible or Canada is like, nah.
Well, it's kind of like how during the Second World War, how Russia just took a step back and let the Germans freeze. Like all up there, it's
Right.
cold. Like there's the two territories next to to Alaska
Russia
there.
sold it, right? Is that not what is Russia sold it?
Yes.
that
And, well, it was decided amongst 6 individuals. I forget all the details, but 3 were
In
Canadian.
Lord of the Rings, they each
Three,
got a ring.
three American, 3 Canadians, and one of the 3 Canadians was convinced to give it to the Americans.
I hear they have buyer's remorse. Is it seller's remorse? Something else.
Sellers, yeah. Well, I mean, it's understandable, but
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's interesting stories over land that isn't necessarily as bountiful as everything else. Cool stories.
Yeah, I don't generally leave the South unless I stick around the East Coast because I'm from New York. So if it's not in the South to the north, I don't know nothing about it. So what I think like traveling, I didn't even know where New Orleans was until I looked it up. I was like, oh, I have to go through Alabama. So I was like, okay. So
Greenbow, Alabama.
I've never been there either. I had it's past Chattanooga. I've been to Chattanooga. That's as far as I probably went. So it'll be interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I'll either love it or I'll not make it back. I don't know. But if I actually get to see Christian Kane, it'll be worth it. It's only been like 25 years since I wanted. He's the reason why I'm broke. He's the reason why I have a comic book. So we can blame him. I'm going to tell him that too. Maybe not so nicely. But I'm hoping he's not an ass. I don't think he's an asshole, but
He's reasonable. I met him once at a party in Burbank. How bizarre is this that I know who you're talking about? And I'm like, oh yeah, I hung out with Christian Kane at a party in Burbank. And then who else? There was like a chick there. Who was the chick? She was like somebody known too. And then, but she was like always off to the side. It was very weird that she wasn't,
Tom
sort of
became my new best friend. So what was it
very
like? So did you actually like hang around and talk to him?
a little bit. Yeah, I knew. I didn't know him. I met him through a friend of mine who knew him. And a friend of mine was an actor as well, and he knew. That's how he knew him.
Now I know him through 6 degrees of
That's
Tom.
right. You have 6 degrees of Christian Kane. That's right. So yeah, we were just at this little party, and it was, we hung out for a little bit, and just this was back when he was on what was that thing called, the
Leverage?
Librarians or something?
Oh yeah, Librarian was after
Yeah.
Leverage. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would think it's before.
Or maybe it was Leverage. I don't know. Right in that time is when
Depends how long was his hair. I can tell you based on his
it
hair.
was. I recall it being pretty long.
Then it was Leverage.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
cut short for Librarians, which is why I always think
Yeah.
Librarians.
Then
before Leverage.
definitely Leverage. Definitely.
Yeah,
Leverage.
he was known for like trying to play with it and like putting it behind. Like he's like they make fun of him a lot. But he didn't come off like an entitled asshole, because that's okay.
Not in that
That's it.
situation. No.
All
I
right,
mean,
that's it.
clearly he was in an environment that he was fine in, so he
Yeah.
didn't really have a reason to get like weird.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know who he was much, so it's not like I was fanboying or anything.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, Christian, tell me about Leverage.
That would
Is
have
that,
been
is that what Chris sounds like?
yeah.
That's what Carissa's going to
That's
sound
how I
like. Yeah.
sound, apparently.
Oh, Christian.
Yeah. The only thing I tell myself, and this is going to sound wrong if this ever comes out, and I actually do become famous, and he watches this, he'll be like, "What the fuck?" But I've hung out with Jensen and Jared, and they're obviously a little bit higher than him. So I'm trying to tell myself, well, I already met them. I already hung out with them. I talked to them for like half an hour. I should be able to hang out with Christian Kane with no problem. But Jensen, to me, he's very genuine. Like when I hung out with him for half an hour, all we do is complain about our significant others and how his wife was always late and likes his beer. Like he's very easy to talk to. So he doesn't fake that he's who he is.
Yeah.
And then I've met other people like. My husband met Norm, whatever the hell his name is, from Jurassic Park. He said he was not interested in being there at all. He was so upset that he acted like he did not want to be there. I was like, maybe he had a bad day. But he was so excited to get his autograph from Nedry. Is that his name? Nedry? So I don't know. So sometimes it sucks to meet somebody. I'm trying to think if I've been disappointed.
I was at where the hell was this? Planet Comic-Con. And it was the last day, and I walked out of the hotel, and there's a big dude, a big freaking dude, like taller than me, next to me, and I'm just like, God damn, like that doesn't happen often. And I'm just standing there. I was wearing my Jaws shirt, and we were waiting, I think, for like the bus to take us down there or something. And I'm just standing there. He looks at my shirt, and he's like, "Oh, dude, cool shirt, Jaws." I'm like, "Oh yeah, thanks, man. It's it's one of my favorite movies." Blah blah blah. And we just start talking about Jaws. And he's like, so what, are you going to the con? I'm like, yeah, I've got a booth down there. Oh, what do you do? Comics, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so what are you a volunteer? Like, what are you doing there? He says, no, I'm a guest too. I'm like, oh, what comics do you do? He says, no, I'm one of the movie guests. I'm like, oh, who the fuck are you? I'm like, do I was like, should I know who you are? And he was like, no, probably not. And I'm like, okay, thank God. I'm like, so who are you?
Oh, you.
Yeah. And so he goes, so he says, oh, well, have you seen Rogue One? I was like, yeah. He's like, well, I'm Darth Vader. And I was like, holy shit. So yeah, no, clearly I would not know who the hell you are
Yeah.
because you wore the mask.
You just cover up his face. Oh yeah,
yeah,
I
I'm like,
recognize you now.
Yeah.
100%. I know who you are now. Yeah. So he was the new Darth Vader in the suit in
So
Rogue
have
One.
you fanboyed with anybody? Like, is there somebody that you actually saw that you were like, holy shit?
I always, but the problem is that if I fanboy, I can't get near them. I won't go near them.
Oh, you're
So who
nervous.
was the hardest one to not fanboy with?
Well, there's been a bunch, but like, for example, I've gone to cons for years, even before me doing cons. I just used to go to cons as a fan. And Erin Gray, who used to play Wilma Deering on Battlestar Galactica, she was at all of these cons. And I would see her all the time. And I'd be like, oh my God, that's fucking Wilma Deering, like right there. And I would just stand like 30 feet away, like looking at her booth, like, how do I do this? Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what to do. And so it's been like 20 years. I have constantly gone past her booth, just like Pastor Booth. And every now and then she'll throw me a nod. Hey, how you doing? Like, what, who? I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. So there's people like that. What I learned to do, and I've only done this a couple of times. I was at a horror con and they had PJ Souls from Halloween, and they had Tony Moran from Halloween. And I was like down about 6 booths from them down there. And I love Halloween. Like, that's my jam. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I can't walk up to this booth. I'm going to be a freaking moron. And so through the whole show, I keep looking down like, what are they doing? Hey, what are you doing down there? Like, are you like, what's going on? And then so on Sunday, it was kind of mellow, and I looked down there and there was nobody there, and I was like, God, I have to do this. I have to do this. But I didn't know how to break the ice. And then it came to me. I was like, dumbass, you have comic books on your table, and you could give them a book and sort of break the ice. Hey, I'm a creator. Here's the thing. So I wrote, and I signed them for them. So I wrote on PJ Souls. She was the one that she sits up and her top comes down, and then she goes, hey, see anything you like? So I wrote on hers. I said, I hope you see something you like, Tom Hutchison, for her. And then Tony played Michael Myers in part of the movie. And so the tagline for Halloween was the night he came home, right? So I wrote on his, something for you to take home, sign my name. And so then I went down there with these 2 books, like Scared to Death. And I get there, and as it happens, she's talking to her manager right behind her. And so I'm like, oh, fuck, like she's in the middle of something. And I start to like turn around and go back because it was all blown. And then but somehow she notices me. She turns around. She's like, hey, what's going on? What do you, and then she saw my exhibitor badge, and she's like, oh, so you're exhibitor? Like, what do you do? And I'm like, oh,
I do a thing.
I do this. Like, I'm a comic book person. I'm down here, and I'm a big fan, and I wanted to give. This is how I broke. I was like, I want to give you my book. Like, here's my book. And
she's thinking he's giving her the phone number. Did you put your phone number in there, Tom?
It's so bad. It's so bad. And so, but what was cool was for her, she clearly knew that I was wrecked, and she's dealt with this before, and so she just took it all over and just flipped it around on me. And she was like, oh, this is really cool. Like, tell me what this is and how it works. And you make this comic and whatever. Yeah, 100%. And so I started to talk about me in the book, and she was like, this is really cool. And she started to give it back to me. I'm like, no, that's for you. And she was like, oh, that's so cool. Like, did you want like an autograph? And I'm like, I absolutely do. And I picked out a picture, and she signed it, and I went to give her money, and she was like, no, we're trading. And I was like, oh, well, that wasn't my intention. And she's like, no, that's cool. We're going to trade. And then Tony wasn't there. And I was like, oh, I've got one for Tony too. Should I come back? And she was like, oh, he's right there. Like, he was walking down the aisle. And so she's like, Tony, come here. And I'm like, this is so bizarre. And Tony comes up, and I'm like, Tony, I'm a big fan. This is that. And she's super cool. And Tony signs a thing for me, and he swaps it out. And then she's like, come back here and let's get a picture. And I'm like,
that's
what
adorable.
the fuck? So I got a picture with the 2 of them. And
Nice.
that really helped me like a lot, kind of realize, like, because for me, I always have in my head, you guys ever see the William Shatner thing on Saturday Night Live from ages ago? So it's a skit where Shatner goes to like a Star Trek con, and he's doing a talk, like, hey, I'm whatever, Star Trek's great. Yay, we're going to take some questions from the fans. And the fans are all like, so let me talk to you about season 2, episode 27. In the Enterprise, something was wrong, and it counteracts the canon from season 1.
Yeah.
And so it's a great, look it up if you haven't seen it. It's hysterical. And eventually Shatner just breaks, and he's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Get out of your mother's basements, that kind of thing. But I always assume that I'm going to walk up to these guys, and if I'm feeling it, I'm going to be like, when we did Halloween 2, it didn't really connect with and I don't want to be that person, right? But I also don't want to be the guy that's like, yeah, so I thought I'd just come see you and not like have any energy for them, So I have
that balance.
You have to find that.
And that's where the book came in. It really helped me, break that ice and create sort of a quick connection. that
So
got
Tom-
me out of all of that stuff.
Tom, I have friends from high school. They have this term called pulling a Jessie. And what that means is when you make a mistake, but it highly works in your favor.
Mhm.
And in your case, you had all this plan and her back was to you. It's like, oh, this messed it up. But it ended up being like the best scenario for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's basically pulling a Jessie. is what we did there.
I haven't fangirled like that. Like, so I got really nervous the first time I went to Supernatural, but I was okay because there was no talking. You know, I was in line for the photo. And I think I told the story last time, but you know, Jared stepped on me and I fell and Jensen caught me and I was like, well, shit. So you think that would have been a great, you know, thing, but instead I have a picture of it. Like I was scared to touch them. So like, I was like this, I look like a T-Rex between the two of them and they're just really, really tall. So that was probably the most nervous I ever got. But I hung out with them like backstage. And of course, when I hung out with them backstage, Jared's like, "Aren't you the one I stepped on?" I was like, "Yep." And it was like 3 months later. So that didn't help my embarrassment. But I have never really like fangirled before. So this with Christian Kane is going to be like, I'm going to try not to fangirl because I'm not generally like that. I'm usually pretty, you know, I don't know if you guys seen Supernatural, but I went on the cruise with Misha, who plays, you know, Castiel. So I'm fine around celebrities. But I've been watching him since like the 90s. So like this is like probably the first person that I would have fangirl. I think I'll be okay. But I think because my whole goal is to give him one of the hardcovers that only exists because of him, that's why I'm nervous. If I just had to get an autograph and go, I'd be fine. But having to talk to him and tell him that I'm there because I needed him to sign my damn book, I think almost fangirl, but I was just a little nervous was James O'Barr because I had, you know, loved his stuff since 1993. So him, but I wasn't as nervous because it wasn't like, you know, I had a crush on you for like 25 years. It was, you know,
you know, it's funny. I don't fanboy out over artists and stuff. Like I've met Todd McFarlane and I've met J. Scott Campbell and I've met like all these guys. Like I've never had that feeling for that, you know.
Well,
but when
'cause
it
you
comes to
don't
movie
know-
and
I
TV
don't think you know
people,
them as well, you know, like you watch people in movies and stuff.
I don't know these guys. I mean, I just meet them
No, I mean,
at
like
the cons and stuff, and I'm just like, oh hey Todd, what's going on? You know, what was funny at this con, Ryan Otley came by the booth. He's the artist for Invincible, and so I was sitting at Henri Compton's table because he got me a badge to come in. And I was just sitting there, and we were just chatting. And then Ryan Otley comes down the aisle, and he looks right at me. And he's like, "Oh, hey guy, what's going on?" And I get up, and I'm like, "Hey," shaking his hand, and Henri's looking at him like, "Who's this guy?" And I'm like, "Oh, this is my friend Henri. Henri, this is Ryan Otley," and he's like, "Ryan who?" I'm like, this is Ryan Otley. He's like, "The Invincible Ryan Otley," and I was like, "Yeah, the one and only Ryan Otley." And he shakes his hand, and you know, on we went. But like, you could see him kind of be in the deer in the headlights for a minute. He's like, "Yo,
Yeah.
that's Ryan Otley," and he's right at my booth, man. I guess that was fun. That was really cool.
Yeah,
And
I
then-
don't. Yeah,
I had this weird moment at WonderCon once where as we were trying to get in, all the vendors were trying to get in early, you know, before all the fans come in. And we're kind of standing in line. And as we start to go in, Richard Hatch is here, Apollo from the original Battlestar Galactica. Richard Hatch comes in and he has a guest badge, not an exhibitor badge, right? Which shouldn't matter. Like, he's a guest. Let the guy in. But the meatball at the door was like, no, we're only letting people with exhibitor badges in. And he's like, I am an exhibitor. I'm a guest. I have a booth. We're blah, 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 blah. And he's like, well, I can't let you in. I can only let in exhibitor. And I'm like, dude, do you know who this is? This is Apollo. What are you doing? And the guy goes, I don't know what that means. And I was like, all right, look here. So I took my badge off. I gave it to him. I said, give me your guest badge and we'll swap later on. And because I can come in later with my friend. And he's like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah. So take this. And I took his guest badge. And then we just met up inside. And I'm like, okay, I'm not a guest anymore. You can come back. But
You're staring at the gatekeeper in disgust. Just
yeah. I'm like, now he's an exhibitor. Now he can go in, right? Well, yeah, I guess so.
You're
I'm like,
Wow.
brilliant, dude.
you idiot.
That's great.
Wow.
That's insane. Wow, these bottles really add up. Did I really spend this much money in the last 2 days over these little jars? It's amazing how quickly $1 adds up.
So you need to get to a con and get some stories, Ray.
I have a few. I've met mostly celebrities here in Winnipeg. Met Billy Boyd. He played Pippin Took. Lou
Nice.
Ferrigno. I've met some celebrities. Not so much comic talent. I don't know why, but I never get a fanboy feeling. More like I'm happy for the person and all the success leading up to this point where people line up and pay to get their autographs. It's just kind of cool to talk to people in those positions. Yeah, I can't think of a story where I was like overwhelmed at greatness. I don't know how else to put it when you're fanboying, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been to a few. There's actually a couple of local ones coming up. We got the Comic-Con here in October, but there's also a fantasy and sci-fi con coming up. And with my comic, I think that'll be a good fit. So I'm speaking to the powers to be. Yeah, I can't think of. One time I met Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez in the same night. That was kind of neat in Toronto. They were filming a movie that was about, we were talking about Triple X prior. It was about these two brothers that made this famous adult film. So they had their heads shaved like horseshoe pattern baldness, and I saw them in character. My brother was an extra in that movie. That was kind of neat. I was only like 13 at the time. But yeah, in regards to celebrities, that's, I mean, the closest I could have to a cool story, I guess.
There was
Nice.
a con. There was a some kind of, I don't know what it was, pop culture con of some sort, and they had a bunch of the Watchmen guys down there, and Malin Ackerman
Oh, yeah.
was there, and I was like, I wasn't even in the room, and I fanboyed as soon as I saw that Malin was going to be at a con, and so I posted it online at one point. I was like, look, there's this con. It's in Indianapolis. It's like 4 hours from me. I want to go, but I need a wingman because I'm going to ask Malin Ackerman to marry me if I don't have a wingman. And I don't know if I can handle it. And so I just posted that out to see if anyone wanted to go. And I couldn't find a wingman, so I didn't go. So I'm not married to Malin Ackerman. That's the end of that story.
sucks.
That's the only reason.
Yeah, it's the only reason I'm not married to her is.
That's great.
But
Okay,
yeah,
now-
no, I because I love the Watchmen, and I love she was in Rock of Ages, singing with Tom Cruise in that. So
In the Watchmen, she played, is that Silk
Spectre.
Spectre? Yeah, it was Silk Spectre. Number 2, the daughter.
the daughter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I feel better now. I was apparently adding up because I was adding up just what you can see because I thought that was it, and that was actually the cents. So I thought I spent like $800 in the last 2 days, but it's way less. I was a little nervous. I was like, I didn't think that $4 charms would add up that freaking much. So
Only if you bought 200 of them.
I did. Well, I kind of did. Like some things I did were super cheap. And then there were other things where it's like, all right, that's my only option. So, and then Lori's like, buy the cheaper one. I was like, and it looks so much like it was really like 1/10 the price to get these little charms of one type. I had to get one for each one. And there was 2 choices for one. And one was for $1.60, you get 25 of them. 25 of them, 10 of them. No, I think it was like 25 of them. And then for $1.60 each was a way better one. And Lori's like, no, you get the cheaper one. I was like, I don't know about that. I don't really want the cheaper one. So I wound up getting both because what the fuck. So yeah, I got both. But anyway, so right now I'm up to, well, I did pass 100, so it did add up quite a bit. Oh well. Anyway,
Unfortunately, I've got to get going. I have.
yeah, we gotta go anyway. I tell my husband every time I'm going to be done by 9, and he already knows it's never going to be 9. But anyway, we'll see everybody next Monday. Still search for Big Shark, and
It's 8:30 where I am. If that helps you at all, you got a half hour to go.
there you go. All right, thanks everybody.
Context.
Bye.